Just because we remove the word patient from the statement doesn't mean we're going to be impatient.
The white-haired grandmotherly type personified by Janet Yellen. She knows best when it comes to your money and when it comes to America's financial interests. But is it time to tear down the old Fed and maybe build a new one? Or maybe two new ones? This, among other things, we focus on. Let's welcome back the Newsmax Director of Financial Newsletters, the original money master, Jeff Yastine. Good to see you again, Jeff.
Hey, Ed.
All right, we hear these words from Janet Yellen. They took out the word patience from some of their statements. Why is this a big deal, Jeff?
Wall Street thinks it's a big deal because it's an indication of what the Fed is thinking about. If Janet Yellen was a cartoon and you could draw one of those ... bubbles over her head, it would say, I'm thinking about raising interest rates, but I don't know when, or I won't say when I will do it. And what happened yesterday is kind of a classic example of what you and I have talked about at various points. The Fed reserves the right to change the rules in midstream. In this case, yes, they removed the word patient, which now indicates that interest rate increases are on the table someplace. Wall Street thinks probably September or perhaps later than that now. But the other two parts they did were, one, they said that they don't believe the U.S. economy is growing as fast as previous. So they're saying that GDP expectation 2.3% or so. And they're saying the unemployment rate, they believe, is can be lowered, their target rate, to around 5% to 5.2%, which is lower than it was. So in this case, they're kind of moving the goalposts, because previously it was always thought, well, once you get to 5.5 or 6% unemployment, that's about as much employment as the U.S. economy can stand without inflation. Now they're saying, gee, we think we can rethink that notion.
Jeff, does the Fed simply talk way too much?
Some people think so. The folks on Wall Street, they live for this. I mean, they want whatever guidance they can get from the Federal Reserve. That's what really a whole generation of traders and Wall Street strategists and economists have been coached on for the last 30 or 40 years. In the Volcker period and before that, you got zero guidance. Now it's all about as much transparency as possible. And in some ways, you can say that's good. And I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here myself. But it's also bad in that we see yesterday so much hanging on just one or two words, and there's really, at the end of the day, no sense of whether or not it actually means something or not, because Wall Street hasn't really done anything yet.
All right, so what is this now I hear about some stories indicating that maybe we need a second Fed, maybe we need another one? I mean, seriously, we need 3 Federal Reserves out there? My God, as if this isn't confusing enough, imagine what more would do.
You know, the thing I've read about the most over many years is that every 70 or 80 years in this country, there is some sort of change in the monetary system. Or in this case, you know, the Federal Reserve was created a little over 100 years ago, and with some changes, it operates pretty much the same as it did a little over 100 years ago. So the big question is, do we want the Federal Reserve to remain sort of that key indicator, that key decider of monetary policy, or are there adjustments that should be made with the 21st century economy that we live in these days? And that is something, obviously, the policymakers and all of us as citizens are going to have to decide, either directly or indirectly.
Got about a minute left here. Bottom line, you, I think, earlier said that the thinking is that they will raise the rates maybe in September. Did I hear you correctly on that?
Yeah. Yes, I was taking that from Goldman Sachs.
Okay.
Their strategist came out and said September.
Why September? What is that? Why is that such a magical time?
It's not. I mean, nobody really knows. The strategists, Goldman Sachs and everywhere else, they're just sort of making a probability guesstimate. But come September, they could easily say, you know what, we were wrong. Or they'll never say they were wrong, but they'll say March or June, second quarter of next year sometime. They don't really know. They're just basing it on what they see from the Fed and what they see in terms of economic data, making their best hunches, their best guesses going forward on that.
No one really knows. It's out there somewhere in the ethereal mist. Everybody's guessing at this point. Shh, quiet. It'll all be a Ghostbusters moment. We'll figure it all out. If you want to be able to keep track of all this, and please do, go to Newsmax.com, go to the finance page, click there 24/7. You'll find out what's going on. Also, get your copy of the Warren Buffett's Red Door. Go to FIRcollapse.com. You'll do it there. Jeff Yastine, always a pleasure, my friend. Be well. Talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Ed.
Take care. Hey, once there was no hope to ever walk again for a certain group of people. What one company is doing to change all that is simply astounding. We'll show you when we come back right here on MidPoint.